north of me.
Oh,
I
okay.
always like being around here. He's always in a good mood.
Okay. On Hilldale
Yeah.
there?
I live at Melrose.
Do you still live there?
Yeah, Melrose.
So, Mark Regier moved in there then, right?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay, yeah.
Looks like it is 4 o'clock. I call to order the special meeting, Salina Heritage Commission, June 26, 2024. We can take some roll call.
Somebody have a roll call? I can do the roll call. Give me a moment here. Right. Commissioner Martin?
Here.
Commissioner Baffa?
Here.
Commissioner Gilmore? Commissioner Sidow?
Here.
And Chair Mike Sell?
Here.
And Commissioner Gillum?
Here.
Okay, that is a quorum, so that allows us to move on with the agenda.
Okay. I'd like to request staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice has been posted.
Yes, I can confirm that the packet was posted and the required notice was provided.
Thank you. And we'll take a look at the minutes. If you have any questions, staff.
Move to accept.
I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the regular Heritage Commission meeting held on April 24th, 2024. And we'll move on to new business, public hearing item 3.1. Application number CA 24-1 filed by David Sorrell requesting the approval of a certificate of appropriateness to allow the demolition and removal of an existing detached garage and the construction of a new replacement garage.
All right, thank you. I'll be presenting this application item here. The background of the property is we do have a property that's in the historic district. It is a post-Victorian English Tudor style home that was constructed in 1937 and in 1991 was part of the District 3 historic district as a contributing property, meaning that it adds and contributes to the historic district number 3. The nature of the request is the current owners who have lived in this property or at this property since 1997 came and visited with staff about replacing an existing garage that was on the northern part of their property. It's a detached garage and it was in disrepair and they were looking to replace it. And so staff had some conversations about size, setback, bulk regulation requirements, things of that nature. But unfortunately, the garage was removed without a demolition permit and before a certificate of appropriateness could be reviewed by this board. And so that's what we're here to do today, is review a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of the existing garage as well as the construction of a replacement garage. The existing garage, which you see in the aerial photo on the screen, is 18 feet wide by 20 feet deep, and the applicants would like to replace that with an 18-foot wide and 36-foot deep garage instead of the 18 by 20 garage. When a certificate of appropriateness is applied for, staff and the board are responsible for reviewing the accessory structure, in this case accessory structures within the boundaries of a designated historic district, which this is, should be appropriate to and compatible with the architectural features of the primary structure on the lot, which is the house. And so what we do is we have a compatibility checklist. There are 5 points of compatibility that we review when a application comes forward. And so what we have for this case is the applicant is proposing to construct a detached garage I'll get this turned so you can see it. In approximately the same location, which would be to the rear and northern portion of the property. And what the board is responsible for doing is looking at it in terms of its compatibility, considering the 5 points of compatibility that we have in our checklist. So here's the location of the garage, the former slab. You can see that there was some cracks and shifting that occurred over time. There was also a lot of rotten lumber, which is why the applicant chose to remove the structure and is proposing to have a demolition permit for the removal of the structure. And this is some photographs of the garage here and without the garage. And the plan that is being proposed is for a garage that would have shake shingle siding to match and mirror the shake shingle siding that is on the English style Tudor home. It would also have on the sides horizontal wood siding, and then the shingles would be asphalt shingles that would match, they have a brownish color to match the existing shingles on the house. So the site plan, the proposed garage is in virtually the same location. However, instead of being 20 feet deep, it's going to be 36 feet deep, and would have some characteristics that would match what's being proposed, or what is existing with the house. So for the side yards, or for the siding, they're going to have horizontal siding, which does not match the brick siding, however would have a similar characteristic, particularly with the shake shingles facing Highland. For the roofing material, they're proposing to have brown asphalt shingles that would match what is on the existing dwelling. For the orientation of the roof structure, the orientation would be perpendicular to and not parallel, so the orientation of the garage or the roof structure would be in 90 degrees from what is currently there with the house. The pitch of the roof of the current dwelling is unknown. It is rather steep because of the style, the English Tudor style that the architecture has, and typically that pitch is greater than 1312. And the plans for the proposed garage that you see are for a 612 pitch. However, they appear to be more of a 412 pitch. Looking at the sidewall heights of the proposed garage would be 9 feet, and the existing house is between 9 and 10, so that would be a compatible match. And then lastly, looking at the color and finish, the applicant is proposing to paint and color the garage with the same exterior finish and trim colors that the house has. And so when we're looking at a compatibility checklist, there are 5 points of compatibility, and you need to have at least 3. In this case, the roofing materials, the sidewall height, and the exterior colors all would be points of compatibility that would match the existing dwelling. And so staff does have some potential findings of fact that you'll find on page 5 and 6, and we have identified a few options 1, 2, 3, and 4 on page 6. The option that staff would recommend would be option 1, and that is the approval of a certificate of appropriateness for the project based on staff's findings that the proposed project will conform with the Heritage Conservation District ordinance and the city's compatibility checklist for detached garages. And so with that, staff will take any questions you might have, or if there's any graphics that you would like to revisit, we can certainly do that as well. We would note also that we did receive some correspondence from neighboring properties for different instances in which neighbors have expressed support for the proposed garage that the applicant is asking for a certificate of appropriateness for. So we do have some correspondence in support of the proposed garage.
Did you say that they're gonna rotate the garage 90 degrees?
So what I was trying to indicate is, if you look at this photograph here, you'll see that the ridge of the roof runs north-south. And the proposed garage would run east-west. And I'll pull up the site plan here. I think I went past it, actually. So the site plan So the ridge of the residential structure, the ridge of the roof of the residential structure runs north-south, and the ridge of the proposed garage would run east-west, which would be perpendicular 90 degrees from that of the dwelling. And so one of the criteria we look at is the orientation and pitch of the roof or the garage or the accessory structure in relationship to the dwelling. In this case, they would be 90 degrees different, which perpendicular to each other, which means they wouldn't necessarily be one-to-one match, but it's something to be noted.
Is that the orientation that the garage was previously?
Yes, I believe so. I think the garage orientation would be the same, with the only exception is the garage would be deeper than it was before. It would be 16 feet deeper, where it was 20 feet deep before, it's 36 feet now.
And is the pitch of the roof 412 or 612?
We can let the applicant speak to that. Here are the drawings that we have. So you can see the front facade, which is the facade that faces Highland, is going to have a shake shingle siding frontage. The other sides would have a traditional horizontal wood siding, and then the shingles would have a brown shingle that's similar to the residential dwelling. There would be two man doors on the side, and then the main overhead door would face Highland.
That bottom view shows, it looks like a bathroom, but it's got an X on it.
Yeah, I believe that was part of the drawing package, but is not part of the application proposal.
Okay.
The applicant can clarify on that.
Nobody has anything else? I guess we'll hear from our applicants.
Thanks for meeting with us tonight. My name's David Sorrell. I would like to correct that on the paperwork. There's one R in Sorrell, not two. Okay, appreciate that. I think the pitch of the roof is going to be the same as what was there. If you look at the back side of the house, there is a pitch on the back side of the house that would be the same as the garage. So there's two different pitches on our house. So.
What is that pitch?
Although the house, I'm not for sure. It's steep. It's like almost like an A-frame. The back pitch is like a 612 on the back side.
The garage is gonna be 612?
Yeah, yeah. I think we've talked, and we're gonna do. The drawing shows shake shingles in the front to match the shake shingles that are on the house. I think we've decided to go all four sides with that, so that it all looks the same. We were going to go with lap siding on the three back sides for cost, but I think we talked about it, and we're going to go with all four sides.
And so just to highlight this a little bit, because I didn't in my presentation, I'll try to zoom in on the photograph, but above the brick body of the house structure, there is shake shingles in the gables of the roof here, and that's what we're working to match towards, correct?
Yes, and that was what was on the old garage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to propose a bathroom in there because we were going to have a pool later on, maybe. But we've removed that from the
Dustin, can you go back to the elevation and zoom in on that, like
Yep.
the front elevation of that garage?
The elevation drawing of the garage, right?
Yes. I just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly because it almost looks like it's not drawn quite right. So is it a true gable to where your shake shingles would extend all the way up to the underside of that gable, or is there actually a piece of trim there that extends from the bottom of your roof across?
There's a trim across there, yes.
Is it recessed?
No.
So
It was just a piece of trim on the front, the face, that separated the lower part from the rest.
Okay, so it is technically recessed. It's on the actual facade itself.
Yeah.
It's not, the whole gable isn't projected
No.
out. Okay.
No.
No more questions?
I have one more thing I'd like to cover if I could. The existing foundation is 1 foot off the property line. I know that building new, you have to be 3 foot from it, from the soffit. Is that right?
So your side yard setback is going to be 3 foot from the side wall of the structure to the property line, and that's 3 feet.
Okay, so
Now-
it'd be the sidewall then.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, that's the zoning setback requirement. It
Okay.
should be noted that the building code and fire codes may have different setbacks, and maybe Ms. Gillum can help us with this, but I believe that if it's not fire rated, it would have to be at least 5 feet. Is that correct? Do you recall?
Right.
So,
Because of the proximity of my neighbor's garage, we had to fire rate that north wall,
okay.
so.
So you've already had conversations about
Yes.
that, it sounds like.
Yes. And because of our deck behind our house, that's why we set it back another 5 feet,
Mm-hmm,
to be that 5 feet from that deck.
mm-hmm. Yeah. so-
Plus, if we have to move it over 2 more feet, that puts that garage, that overhead door kind of behind the house.
Mhm.
Another reason to set it back
Sure.
a little bit further.
So yeah, to answer the question, the zoning requirement is 3 feet from the side yard,
Okay.
or from the
The
side yard
s-
property line to the exterior of the wall of the new structure.
Okay.
Dustin, is that something we really have to review, or is that something that would come up during like his permitting process?
That would be more of a permitting question. But while we were having conversation about it, I thought if you knew off the top of your head that that's fine.
I don't know,
Yeah.
not for residential.
So
The existing slab, as you saw, was broken. Several areas, there's 4-inch gaps. It was sliding away from each other. One of the reasons I tore it down was probably out of frustration because the opener wouldn't open the overhead door anymore, so I had to open it by hand because everything was out of whack. It collapsed on top of me. So, the whole bottom area was rotted all the way around the building. Some of the better wood, the 1x12 slats that were underneath the shakes, I kept. I plan on using them inside for a back exterior wall just to preserve some of that wood. There's going to be the 3-foot footings. I'm going to build it back right, have 3-foot footings with the slab, so we don't have that slab move in the future. So,
Do you ever anticipate having a restroom in the garage?
I thought about, we really thought about it, but just the cost of the plumbing and in the,
Yeah. Would it be cheaper now to put in some piping
yeah,
now than tear it
Yeah.
up later.
In the future, we want to remove the concrete driveway and re-pour it. All the sewer and water come up through there, so it's kind of perfect to take it right to the garage. So that's definitely an option to have water. And that gives us water to the back of the garage too, with the spigot to water gardens and in the yard and stuff.
Do we have anybody with public comment?
We do not have anyone online or in the room for public comment.
Any other questions? I guess, do we need to take an action on this then?
I move we approve option number 1.
I would second that.
A motion and second to approve option 1, approve a certificate of appropriateness for the project based on staff's findings that the proposed project will conform with the Heritage Conservation District ordinance and the city's compatibility checklist for detached garages. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
We do not have any other business for you today, and we don't have anyone from the public online or in the room. Unless Mr. Sorrell would like to share anything else with us. I don't know that we have any other business.
No, I think we have one of the most beautiful houses in the area, and we'd like to keep it that way, and I appreciate you guys' help with that. So,
Look
thank you.
nice.
Any news about St. John's?
We don't have any additional news to share, no.
And the progress on demolition?
For St. John's,
Unsafe structures?
for unsafe structures, you say?
Yes.
So the city of Salina does have a new position that was created within this last year to help with unsafe structures and the demolition of those or the repair of those. And they have been working with the city commission pretty aggressively on taking care of a lot of the unsafe structures that we've got on our list as structures that need tended to. And so there is a new position, and the city commission has been working with staff on getting a lot of those taken care of.
Do we have a date for our next scheduled meeting?
We don't have any new business in the future. If something comes forward in the way of a new application, we'll reach out and set up a special meeting. Other than that, we don't have any future business.
Well, that's all.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
A motion and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?